Think we're at the top of the food chain? Think again.
At that point, he could have my arm. I just wanted to get out of there.
In the wild, humans aren't usually on the menu. But something has made these guys reconsider.
That's when I started thinking that we might have two dead bodies on the boat.
Something triggered the killer instinct in these animals, and it's time to find out why. Recife, Brazil. A prime spot to soak up rays and splash around the sea. It's also a great place to catch a wave. And Charles Barbosa is searching for the perfect ride. But as he looks to hang 10, an eerie feeling creeps over him.
Something told me to leave. A kind of light came to me, telling me to get out, but it wasn't possible.
Charles's instincts are right. A bull shark yanks him underwater and chomps down on his leg. Adult bull sharks can reach 12 feet long and weigh in at 500 pounds. Their razor-sharp serrated teeth are mounted in a mighty set of jaws that can deliver 1,200 pounds of force in one bite. Charles fights back and actually frees himself. But the shark circles around for another run-in. The only option is to go for the nose with a fierce right hook. But his opponent is too fast. A quick snap of his jaws, and Charles's right hand is gone. So he opts for his left, throwing another fist to the shark's face. It bites down, snapping through flesh and bone. Then it slinks off with both of Charles's hands. He needs to get to shore, but his wounds are gushing blood. Luckily, lifeguards are on the scene to rescue him. But will they get to Charles in time, or become the shark's next victims? Joe Soika is picking berries near his campsite in Ontario's Lake Mississauga Provincial Park. But his quality time with Mother Nature is about to take a dark turn. Something's stalking him.
And it was so loud, I thought it was a moose just from the noise. I looked behind me and I saw the bear.
Black bears are one of North America's most powerful predators. They weigh more than 500 pounds and easily overpower huge prey. Razor-sharp claws tear into their catch. Canines deliver bone-crushing bites.
I thought, well, maybe it's the blueberries.
Not today. This guy's trading in his vegan diet for something a little heartier.
And when I set him down, he didn't even look at him. He was looking at me. He didn't stomp his feet. He didn't growl. He didn't stand up. He didn't do any of the things that the book says that they will do. And then when he stopped, I realized this was really serious.
The bear ignores the blueberry bait and charges Joe.
maybe about 10 feet away. So I give him a short blast of the pepper spray. He turned around and he walked a few feet, but he immediately turned right back around.
Right there, go wait.
The spray has the reverse effect. It doesn't scare the bear. It makes him mad.
The camp was probably about 100 yards, so I took off running.
Attacks by black bears are extremely rare. Grizzlies are usually the culprits. 800 pounds of muscle, claws, and teeth. There's never been a black bear attack in this Ontario park. Until now.
He comes just crashing out of the brush, and you hear that thump, thump, thump. The million things are racing through your head. I thought, like, this might be it for me.
Anne Marie Campbell is visiting friends and family in Florida's Ocala National Forest. Steps away from their camp is Juniper Creek, a great spot for snorkeling. Anne Marie snorkels away from her friend Jackie, and eventually out of sight. But there is something watching her. Alligators have been hunting and killing for 200 million years. They can grow to 19 feet and devour 400 pounds of food a week. They own their surroundings. Advanced hearing and pressure sensors on their face detect every movement in the water. Which is what this one's using to gauge Anne Marie's exact size and location. Without warning, massive rows of razor-sharp teeth clamp down on her head. And she's dragged underwater in a violent death roll. When Jackie finally catches up, her friend is nowhere to be found. It's like Anne Marie was never there. Near the Russian-Chinese border, Sergei Sokolov and Vladimir Ozchuk are studying the most endangered big cat in the world, the Amur leopard. They've been tracking one for 16 miles, so they need to head back to camp now to make it before dark. Then, a new set of tracks catches Sergei's eye, and he wanders away from Vladimir, backtracking over the footprints to keep from sneaking up on the cat from behind. But something is on the path heading toward him.
He went behind the hill and vanished from my line of sight.
Suddenly, an enormous force explodes from the snow. And this furry guy isn't a leopard. Siberian tigers can grow to 13 feet and weigh 700 pounds. Gigantic strides allow them to reach speeds of 50 miles per hour. and their jaws can snap bones like twigs. The tiger tears into Sergei's leg.
In a minute, I heard Sergei screaming.
Vladimir is paralyzed with fear, and every second he wastes brings Sergei one step closer to death. Charles Barbosa is drowning off the coast of Recife, Brazil. A bull shark delivered a nasty bite to his leg, then chewed off both of his hands. Great whites may get a bad rap, but the bull shark is more dangerous to humans. They live in the shallows and love to hunt near the shore. Antonio de Brave and a team of lifeguards risk their own lives to help.
Some surfers who had already left the ocean tried to hold us back to keep us from going in, but we knew our mission, so we went to help him. When we approached Charles, I saw that his hand was already cut off. I was carrying the safety float and I asked him to hold it. He said to me, "How?" And I said, "With the other hand." We had not realized that he had lost the other hand. When he raised his arm from the water and saw it, he screamed that he wanted to die.
The lifeguards save Charles. But the people of Recife are rocked by the attack. This isn't the first time a shark has bloodied the waters off Brazil. Just months earlier, Eduardo Rodriguez is surfing past Recife's barrier reef when a bull shark snatches him from the surface. Eduardo is able to fight him off, but the shark still makes off with his leg. Over the next several seasons, shark attacks in Recife skyrocket to 28. The government outlaws surfing, but the carnage continues. People and wildlife have shared these waters peacefully for generations. But something has changed all that. Investigators search for a cause. But can they solve the mystery before the next bloody attack? In Ontario, Joe Soika runs for his life as a Canadian black bear tears up the path behind him. But this is one race Joe can't win. The bear on his heels can run 30 miles an hour, so Joe opts for a different tactic.
He was 3 feet when I sprayed the rest of the can at him. He took a quick jump back and turned around and started to run. And just as he started to run, he turned his head and looked at me.
Bears are technically carnivores, but they're not picky when it comes to meals. They'll nosh on berries, grasses, ant colonies, and carrion. Bottom line, They're opportunists. And this one viewed Joe as a potential snack. Luckily, he escapes unharmed. But 10 days later, the same bear is at it again. Jackie Perry and Mark Jordan are camping across the lake from Joe. The bear sets its sights on Jacqueline and closes in. By the time Mark shouts a warning,
Jack, bear!
it's too late. Mark attacks the bear and pries him off his wife. But he's unarmed and now in a violent bear hug. Deadly canines sink into Mark's neck. Then he's flung aside like a rag doll. The bear heads back to what he really wants, Jackie. Anne-Marie Campbell's snorkeling adventure has turned into an underwater nightmare. Her friend Jackie searches desperately for her, clueless that she's drowning right beside her. Gators usually strike the head of their victims first, since it gives them the best control over their prey. Then they thrust them underwater and stay submerged for hours. Plenty of time to overwhelm their catch. During droughts, these giant reptiles migrate in search of a new home, walking up to a mile in a single day.
We had 4 alligators that appeared overnight. They all moved overland.
Don Goodman manages the Kanapaha Botanical Gardens in Gainesville, Florida.
And one of these 4 was a much larger alligator than we'd ever seen before. And this was the one that ultimately we named Mojo. Turned out ultimately to be just under 12 feet long. And in the first week that Mojo was here, he ate 2 of the other alligators. They were about 6 feet long each.
Don and his team don't take any chances with Mojo. If they need to get in the water, the giant gator needs to be someplace else.
He was separated from the body that I was working in by a large waterfall. So while he was up there, I went into the lower pond and I worked for about an hour and a half. I stopped and went to get lunch and came back, and that's when I made my single mistake, which is that I didn't check to make sure Mojo was still the same place I'd seen him. And suddenly there was a huge swirl in the water. He just exploded to the surface. I didn't even realize my arm was in his mouth.
Vladimir Ozchuk's friend, Sergei, is being attacked by a humongous Siberian tiger.
I was very scared. My first instinct was to run away. Though I was scared, I had to overcome it. When I climbed the hill, all I saw was a gray shadow, moving away fast in long leaps.
The tiger leaves Sergei in a pool of blood, but he's alive.
I saw him lying there, writhing with pain, and my first reaction was, it's a good thing he is alive.
Like most big cats, tigers attack the head and neck of their victims. One bite is all it takes to drop most prey. But the tiger that sliced open Sergei's leg didn't go for the kill. And he didn't get a meal. Bleeding profusely and in shock, Sergei manages to go from patient to doctor.
Surprisingly, it was Sergei who helped me a lot here. After this serious trauma, he gave me advice, what to do first and what to do next.
Sergei is stable, so Vlad sets up camp. Then he's faced with a tough choice.
It was clear that I could not leave a human being in this condition for long.
Their camp is more than 16 miles away, over brutal terrain. But Vladimir is determined to save his friend. Why the tiger attacked, then abandoned Sergei before eating him, is a mystery.
It was very surprising. Here, it was more like a cat playing with a mouse.
Maybe the cat felt threatened. Humans are the tiger's archenemy. But maybe there's another reason. Back on the ridge, Sokolov fights to stay alive and awake. But his body is shutting down. Vladimir has already trekked 10 miles through snow and brush. But base camp is still 6 miles away. He's run cross-country his entire life, but the stakes have never been this high. The beaches of Recife are overrun with bull sharks, making meals out of surfers and swimmers. No wonder this once thriving tourist hotspot is suffering. Most shark species spend their entire lives in the open ocean. But bull sharks head for fresh water when it's time to have their pups. The murky water and mangrove banks found in nearby estuaries provide excellent shelter for baby bulls. But a prime nesting spot near Recife was destroyed when a massive shipping complex was built right on top of the bull shark habitat. This could help explain the high number of attacks. Soon, the number of casualties reaches 30. The government doesn't know what to do. So they sit back and hope that the attacks stop soon. Only then can they lift the ban on surfing and see tourism flourish again. But Mario Canero can't wait, and sets out to ride the perfect wave. It's a decision he soon regrets. Mario drops flat on his board and pulls his arms and legs out of the water. A bull shark surfaces, sizes him up, and starts circling. All Mario can do is brace himself for the impact. Then, in a desperate move, he jumps off the surfboard just as the shark takes a huge chunk out of it. Now, he's alone and defenseless in the water, and the shark's not giving up. Mark Barrett is exploring the creek near his campsite in Florida's Ocala National Forest. He sees his stepdaughter, Anne-Marie, snorkeling in the distance. But when he gets closer, he realizes she's being attacked by an alligator. Barrett yanks at its mouth, but it refuses to let go. Gator jaw strength is legendary, and this 11-footer unleashes thousands of pounds of force with every bite. Barrett keeps fighting, but it's a battle he's not likely to win. Don Goodman is in a similar predicament. A 12-foot gator named Mojo just slammed 75 teeth through his arm.
It's amazing how your priorities change. So I pulled up and snapped the tendon free and just turned around and just walked away.
Don heads for land. Mojo busies himself behind.
He was busy swallowing my arm.
Rising temperatures and a lack of water forced Mojo to migrate. When ponds and streams evaporate, alligators are forced to share the hospitable land. Heat also forces these guys to eat more. And extreme conditions can trigger extreme aggression. "1,200 miles away in Ontario, a black bear is mauling Jackie Perry. Her husband Mark tries to save her, but he's easily tossed aside. Something triggered the same bear to charge people twice within days. But what? Most attacks on humans happen when a bear is startled or feels threatened. Or it's an overprotective mother. But Jackie and Mark were at camp, not trudging through the forest. Mark grabs his only weapon, a pocket knife, then goes head-to-head with the bear. Once again, he's in a violent bear hunt. But this time, he's armed, and his killer instinct drives the knife repeatedly through the bear's skin. Mark's will to survive overpowers the bear's will to fight. And the beast backs off, for now. Jackie's in bad shape and needs immediate medical attention. But the bear isn't cooperating. He cuts Mark off at every turn, except for the water. Even as he stumbles toward the kayaks, the bear stalks him down the shoreline. Then, in a moment of sheer luck, the bear finally gives up the hunt. But paddling's no less painful than the bear bites Mark suffered.
Help me!
Vitus Abrutus and his son Ritus are camping nearby.
And I hear like screaming, you know, like shouting. Like at first I didn't realize what it was. Then I realized it's help.
And I said, my son, something is wrong. Okay, go see what's happening. My son jumped in the boat and went to meet the guy.
When I first heard the screams, I was wondering what's going on. But then when I see the guy bleeding, I already knew that the bear attack, the timing, everything right away.
Less than an hour earlier, Ritus and Vitus had a run-in with the same bear.
My son is standing across the table and he's saying to me in Lithuanian, it's Meshka, Meshka, it means bear, bear. I turn around and like, I don't know, 20 feet away is the bear coming.
I started waving my hands and making noises, you know, like that, just to try to chase her away. Nothing seemed to work.
Get out of here. Go, go, get out of here.
Picked up the axe, I smashed it like hard, the head of it into the table. It made that huge sound, like real rumbling sound.
Like, I assumed that the bear didn't like it a bit because it like really shrugged. It really suddenly turned around and walked away.
You know, within a couple of minutes after we chased it away, we decided, you know, we're not going to stay here now. We're not going to sleep here tonight because we're not staying with this bear. So I grabbed his boat canoe to pull it to the shore, and then I look, oh my God, and the canoe is like half filled with like red water, you know, bloody water.
In Siberia, Vladimir Ozchuk finally reaches camp, 16 miles from where his friend Sergei was mauled by a tiger. But his quest is only half over. Now he has to trek 16 miles back with a rescue team. They make it back by sunrise. 24 hours since the attack. Sergei is half conscious and confused. When he finally realizes what's happening, he breaks down in tears. Sergei is lucky. He survives a Siberian tiger attack. Doctors replenish the blood he lost and spend months repairing his knee. But why was he a target in the first place? A closer look reveals an unexpected clue. Authorities find not one, but two sets of tiger tracks. One female and one male. Siberian tigers are solitary animals. Males claim huge territories, up to 150 square miles. But where Sokolov was attacked, two tigers were together. And this kind of proximity usually occurs for one special reason. Tigers are extremely dangerous when mating. so accidental observers aren't really welcome. Even though Sergei followed the tracks backward, it wasn't good enough. He had no clue he was caught between two lovers. Luckily, this tiger had something else on his mind. In Brazil, Mario Canero scrambles to get back on his surfboard. A hungry bull shark just chomped a chunk out of it, and it's circling back for more. Mario gets a nudge from below. Then all goes quiet. Too quiet. He could try to escape, but if the shark attacks from below, Mario doesn't stand a chance. So he taps the water with his hand, trying to bait the shark out of hiding. Bad idea. The shark latches onto Mario's arm and yanks him off his board. All he can do is the unthinkable. He saws his own hand off with the shark's teeth, then watches in horror as it swims away. Somehow, Mario gets back on his board and rides the waves into shore. He's one of the lucky ones. Of the 47 shark attacks in Recife, 17 die from their wounds. It seems like there'll be no end to the bloodshed. But finally, investigators solve the mystery. Less than 7 miles inland, along a stream that empties into the sea, is an abandoned slaughterhouse. Sharks have an incredible sense of smell and can pick up scents from over a mile away. Blood can actually increase brain activity in sharks. It triggers them to feed. When the slaughterhouse was open, it processed hundreds of cattle a day. Then, the waste disposal system failed. Thousands of gallons of blood were dumped into the adjacent stream, which eventually went to sea. And the sharks were waiting. The outbreak of shark attacks started the same time the slaughterhouse opened for business. And the pollution continued for years. The smell of blood, along with the shark's shrinking ecosystem, was a recipe for disaster. As soon as the slaughterhouse was condemned, the number of shark attacks returned to normal.
I've never been angry. I believe the shark is not to blame. Somebody must have done something in order for them to leave their own natural habitat and be so close to us now, near the shore.
Mark Barrett is battling a 400-pound alligator that's eating his stepdaughter, Anne-Marie. It's too strong for Barrett. So his friend James rushes in to help. They gouge the reptile's eyes and try to pry its mouth open. Eventually, they free Anne-Marie from the gator's grasp. But they're too late. When the animal's caught, investigators find some similarities between this attack and the one on Don Goodman. Both creatures were male, and in the last 4 decades, male gators committed 80% of all unprovoked attacks. The incidents also show how sneaky gators are. They've been hunting and killing with the same stealth and precision since the age of the dinosaurs. In Lake Mississinipi Park, Vitus and Ritus Abrutus scrambled to save 2 bear attack victims. Mark begs Ritus to move his wife Jackie into the bigger boat.
I couldn't do it. I almost fainted. And my dad pulled her in.
I remember that feeling when I was lifting her. She was like tiny girl, like I don't know, 85 pounds, 90 pounds, you know. And when I was lifting her, my fingers slipped like real deep, like the whole finger in one of the wounds. And then when I put there were wounds from bear claws, like four deep wounds.
Mark's not doing much better. His body is shutting down from his bear brawl.
He had a very bad wound. All this muscle was torn, you know, and it was bleeding. And he was totally white. He lost a lot of blood. And then he started shivering. That's when I started thinking that, you know, we might come there and we will have 2 dead bodies on the boat.
Just when it seems completely hopeless, the rescuers catch a break.
Yeah, we started screaming, you know, like, hey, we started shouting and screaming, and then they saw us, they got close to us.
A doctor and an off-duty police officer are on board.
Oh, my wife! Take my wife! Take my wife!
But the doctor quickly realizes that nothing can be done for Jackie. She's gone.
All right, we gotta go. We gotta go.
They need to get to a hospital immediately to save Mark, so they're forced to go without Jackie. They leave her behind with Vitus and his son. Mark makes it to the hospital in time. And the focus switches to finding Jackie's killer. Investigators put the clues together quickly.
Saw the bear, and I instantly knew that it's something not right, because it was kind of sneaking. The head was kind of down and eyes like this. You know, yes.
The bear was actually stalking humans.
And I'm absolutely 100%. If we jumped to run, bear would have right after us.
The bear has to be taken down. It's injured and hunting humans. The knife wounds confirm this is the killer bear. And it's a young male, the most aggressive of the species. Competition between male bears is constant and fierce. So getting extra protein would put him at an advantage over rivals. The wilderness offers great wonders. But exploring the untamed can be dangerous. Here, predators write the rules. So if you accidentally happen to break one, beware.